Ladies and gentlemen, King JB. I'm here. UFC 143 is now done. A little tipsy, been drinking all night, doing a thing, watching the fights, of course. Mike Fats left a little earlier. First of all, big shout out to my sponsor out there, whatchafight.com. Got a few other sponsors, but you're late on what you owe me, so Anyway, all bullshit aside, man, let's get into UFC 143. I'm a very happy man right now. But I'm going to start off by saying to Desi9, who always watches my videos, you said after UFC 143 that I'd have to post a video saying I was wrong and how much I respect Nick Diaz. All I have to say is, really? Really? We'll get to that in a minute when we get to the main event. But UFC 143 as a whole, it was alright. I really wasn't that, I wasn't that impressed, and I know a lot of you guys feel the same way. But overall, not a bad card. I'm glad I didn't personally pay, whatever it costs to get it. You guys know what I do. So it is what it is, though. But let's go ahead and get into the results. On the undercard, the two Facebook fights, pretty decent. They were in, the welterweight fight started off the fight with the night with Stephen Thompson, the Wonder Kid, and Dan Stitchin. I was wrong about Stephen Thompson. I said that I thought he was all hype, that I didn't think he was that quick, and I didn't think he was anything near Machida when it comes to karate. Let me make this clear. Stephen Thompson kicked some ass. He got the KO head kick to start off the night, 4-13 in round one, to move to 6-0. Big ups to Stephen Thompson. I was wrong. Stephen Thompson's the man. But I did pick Stephen Thompson to win, so this put me at 1-0 for the night. I think he's definitely going to be a solid contender, man. I mean, granted, Dan Stitchin ain't really shit, but in terms of Stephen Thompson, man, he looked good. The only thing I did not like about him is he dropped his hands a lot, man. A real striker and knock his ass out. The other prelim Facebook fight was the middleweight fight between Rafael Natal and Michael Cooper. Natal, I picked him to win by submission. He ended up winning by decision. This raised me up to 2-0. Natal, he just had a shitload of takedowns. I think he had like 5 or 6 in the first round. I think I scored at 30-27. So did 2 of the judges. But the prelim fights on Facebook were pretty decent, man. So they left me off at 2-0. Definitely impressed with what we saw. Now we go to the the FX prelims. Got to see these on TV. Didn't see all of them. I mean, I saw him, but Mike Fats was here. We was drinking, talking shit. So, but I will tell you, Matthew Riddle, he got the upset win over Henry Martinez, and I call it an upset because I really thought Martinez would win. It was a split decision. Some people think he won, some people don't. I really dislike Matthew Riddle. I don't know what it is about this dude. I don't know if it's the hair. I don't know what it is. I just don't like this dude. I was hoping he'd get the loss and get put out of there. Henry Martinez, I just really thought he would step up and take this fight convincingly. I think I even picked him for the knockout of the night. Didn't happen that way. Matt Riddle got it. This put me at 2-1 for the night. The next fight, I ended up losing as well. Put me at 2-2. Another welterweight fight. A lot of welterweight fights tonight. Matt Brown got the TKO win over Chris Cope. 119 of round 2. Obviously, Chris Cope, maybe this type of work just isn't for him in the UFC. Matt Brown is a mediocre fighter at best, in my opinion. I know a lot of you guys like Matt Brown. You guys think he's intense. I think he's boring, man. I've never liked Matt Brown. Now Chris Cope just made me dislike him even more. So, despite being a former guest on MMA Affiliates Radio, Chris Cope, I just think he needs to go back to the littler shows, follow the lead of the Charlie Raiders and the Chuck O'Neills, Ultimate Fighters. Go back, get your shit right, and then maybe get a shot back like, I believe O'Neil and Raider eventually will. Maybe Chris Cope can do it, maybe not. But Matt Brown, I don't know how he wins these fucking fights. It's insane. Bantamweight fight was next. Bruce Leroy. I picked him to lose against Edwin Figueroa, and he did. He just don't. He got deducted 2 points in the second round for repeated kicks to the dick. Bottom line of it is, man, there's rules in this sport. Maybe he's unexperienced, and that's what leads to it. But I mean, you gotta get your shit right. Edwin Figueroa got the win. I picked Figueroa, so this made me 3-2 on the night. Bottom line is, I think Bruce Leroy's out of here, man. I mean, I know a lot of you guys like him because of The Ultimate Fighter, but I just don't think by any means he's UFC material. What is he now, like 6-5? Just come on, man. You guys are the same people that talk shit about Mark Hunt. At least Mark Hunt has beaten legends. Alex Caceres, Bruce Leroy hasn't beaten shit. He's just got a cool nickname. Featherweight fight, Dustin Poirier. We all knew he would run right through Max Holloway to give him his first loss. He did. This made me 4-2 on the day. Poirier did get the submission with the mounted triangle armbar, which was that in itself was a beautiful submission. 3 minutes into the round one. It was actually 3 minutes and 23 seconds. Ed Herman, I picked him to beat Clifford Starks, despite the fact I like Clifford Starks in the middleweight division. It's based on experience, and Herman did exactly what me and even Mike Fat said he was going to do. He got the second round submission, a minute 43 in, rear naked. Ed Herman moves up to 20-7. I mean, a very impressive record, especially in the middleweight division. So this was nice. I believe it moved me up to 5-2 on the night. Renan Barrio, who I believe should be the next in line for Dominic Cruz or Uriah Faber, either one. He got the unanimous decision over Scott Jorgensen. Another fight that I picked, I believe this put me at 6-2. Yeah, 6-2 on the day. You know, a lot of you guys are acting like you don't know who the fuck Renan Barrio is, and maybe you don't. But whether he's 28-1 now, 30-1, I don't know what exactly. But I will tell you this, man. I mean, when you fight 30 times and you've only lost once, it's time to get this motherfucker a title shot. How can anybody disagree? Submission game is on point. Tonight he looked real good with his strikes. Completely outstruck Jorgensen. Everybody in the mama scored at 30-27. Complete dominance. Barrio's definitely the man right now. I mean, you got to give him his credit, man. He's, 4-0 in the UFC now. He's won a shitload of fights in a row. Let's get this man a title shot, man. I think he has to fight the winner of Faber Cruz, period. Welterweight fight. We got Josh Koscheck and Mike Pierce. Boring fucking fight. What was really weird is we only had one takedown before the third round. It was Koscheck's. And, you know, he ended up winning a split decision. Mike Pierce just waited too long to get anything. He got some takedowns in the third round. I think he got 2. But Koscheck, neither one of them impressed anybody, man. Koscheck is the least impressive I've seen him outside of a GSP fight. And Mike Pierce, he just can't win the big one. You know how it goes. Boring fucking fight. I wish it wasn't on the card. I don't even really want to talk about it anymore. Koscheck, he'll never be the champion in the division. Mike Pierce, either way. Heavyweight fight, man. Roy Nelson, man. I got behind him and he just couldn't do it. Fabricio Verdum look amazing. His striking has stepped up beyond what I ever thought it would be. He outstruck Roy Nelson much like he did over Reem. And everybody scored 30-27 for Verdum. Just dominant. Nelson may not get cut because of his win over Crow Cop, but it just isn't going to work for Nelson, man. I really thought Nelson would be able to use his size and power to overwhelm Verdum, especially in the striking game, and then take him down and lay on him. Just didn't happen, man. Verdum looked good. He proved why he's a top 10 heavyweight. Roy Nelson is not. People, I think, now got to question whether he even belongs in the UFC. Maybe, how about this, man? Send him to Bellator, man. Let's see a Roy Nelson-Cole Conrad fight. That ought to be pretty cool. I told you motherfuckers about Carlos Condit. I told you he'd beat Nick Diaz. Unanimous decision. Pretty decent, solid win for Condit. He is the new interim welterweight champion until George St. Pierre comes back from his injury. I told you, Desi 9, I told you, man. Quit picking Nick Diaz all the time because you like his attitude. Just because you can flip people off doesn't mean you're a champion. Nick Diaz, you forget, was like 6-5 in his UFC career prior to making the comeback. Big ups to Nick Diaz for beating Daly. Big ups to Nick Diaz for beating BJ Penn. But Carlos Condit showed, and here's the thing. Carlos Condit was actually, I don't even see how he did it, because he was actually pushed out of his element. Carlos Condit was backing up the entire time, but managed managed to land enough strikes to hurt Nick Diaz, and you saw it several times. Nick Diaz, being the crybaby bitch that he can be sometimes, decided to cry about it. He wants to retire now. You saw his face in the interview. He was all fucked up, but for some reason, this man thinks he did not lose the fight. Did you see his face? Cuts, bruises, he was fucked up. But he thinks that he was done wrong, and now he wants to retire and cry about it. I told you guys. I just told you. So now Nick Diaz GSP will not happen. Nick Diaz says he retires. I hope he does. Get the fuck out. Nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? All you Nick Diaz bandwagon jumpers, just because, he had a huge winning streak going over in Strikeforce, beating the likes of 87-year-old Frank Shamrock and shit like that, you guys weren't paying attention. He cannot beat the upper echelon. Yes, he beat the best lightweight of all time. Keep in mind, though, that was in the welterweight division. And he beat Paul Daly. Ooh. That's it. For his entire career, that's it. All you people saying he beat Gomi, no he didn't. Check the record books. Bottom line of it is, Nick Diaz is definitely a gatekeeper. He's definitely good. 1 to 10, give him a 6, 7, but he's not a UFC champion and never fucking will be. He just had a chance to be champion without fighting George St. Pierre, and he fucked it up. Carlos Condit was on MMA Affiliates Radio. I predicted months ago he would be the champ. He's the champ. King JB, man, I'm right as usual. I was 8-3 on the night. Y'all know how that shit goes, man. What's that? Like 77%? Y'all can't fuck with it. Anyway, big ups to everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? Not a bad night. I'm a little tipsy, so I'm going to lay it down. It's tomorrow's Super Bowl. Go Giants. You know how it goes, man. Giants all the way, just like in 07. I've been a Giants fan forever, so there ain't no bandwagon jumping here. You guys know what it is. Still in Florida, loving life, man. I'll see y'all later, man. Just make sure y'all comment. Make sure y'all get everybody to the new MMA Kingdom Facebook page, man. I'll holler at y'all, man. We'll do something something soon for the upcoming events. But it's been a long night, and I'm out.